even when you're tired and you don't want to do it, you still have to be creative. So, but like accounting, where not dumbing it down, but you're moving numbers around, with creative, you kind of really have to think in another way.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Blind Spot, what a great title. What got you inspired to write this book?
Awesome question.
Do you know what you were getting into? Because, oh my God, I wrote several and it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is. Honestly, it is. Again, it's much of a passion project, but like all the entrepreneurs know, the entrepreneurial path isn't straight. And as you see and find things that are out there, you get inspired by it, and you go down one path, it doesn't work. So really, it was a book that came out of a passion to mentor people. And it was through a discussion of a couple friends that approached me that said, hey, we've got these problems. One being their designer that they worked on for brochures and branding and all this stuff, their hard drive crashed. And they came to me and said, what can we do? This designer basically doesn't have the files anymore.
Wow, that's a problem. Big one.
Exactly. What do we do? And I'm like, my first question to my friend would be, where's your copy of it all? Where's your versions of the logo? And like, you paid for them. Where's your copy? And again, here's this word I'm going to use again and again, is that they assumed that the designer had them, right? In other, they assumed that the
what
person
you say about the assumptions. What you say about assumptions.
Exactly. So they assumed all of that. It's kind of that's kind of where it came from. And then literally within the same week, a woman who we did this beautiful book for, she hired an illustrator to do these beautiful illustrations. It was a book about meditation, and this illustrator did these beautiful, very kind of Indian-esque, elaborate illustrations. And then a year later, she found the illustrator was selling those same illustrations and design on throw pillows and stuff on the Etsy store. And so she came to me being like kind of very worried, because she thought, it would affect her brand to have more of the same design out there. And the first question I asked her was, where's the licensing agreement for the illustrations? Like, it's kind of like going, an analogy we use in the book. It's kind of like, just because you pay for it doesn't mean you own it. And you kind of think it's, yeah. So in that, it's
you're
like,
100%, you're 100% right with that one.
Yeah. And that's kind of how she had no idea. She says, what's a licensing agreement and everything else like that. And so it, I explained to her what it was. And really, again, it comes down to the reason I kind of wrote this book was I realized there's so many questions that our startups and entrepreneurs and people that are doing their side hustle who don't do marketing in their regular job. They don't know what questions to ask. And as I was sort of writing out the book and I was interviewing, friends and clients and everybody that I kind of knew, being like, hey, where have you made the biggest mistakes in your business in marketing? Tell me, what were the worst project mistakes? So
I can tell you loads. We can be here until tomorrow. If you ask me this question, until tomorrow, we're going to be here.
Right. And there's all these things. And it really came down to the assumptions that we make and not asking the right questions or not knowing what to ask. So, I went on this path again, that started about 4 years ago it started off small as a little list, and then it kept on growing. And the more, I really wanted to create something that had value in it. Just like Harry, it's very much, my time is valuable. And when I read something or when I listen to something and I feel as though they're not really getting into the meat of it, they're kind of scratching the surface, and I'm like, there's wasted time. And nothing annoys me more than not getting any content from wasting my time of just listening to someone talk when there's no real value there. And I was like, okay, this is going to be the opposite of that. I'm going to pour as much of my knowledge and everything else into this that I possibly can, not from an overwhelming side, but from a usefulness side. So
absolutely.
And also how it's
thank
structured.
You so much.
So, yeah.
Thank you so much. That's great.
Yeah. So kind of where that's the story of where it started, is just talking to my friends and figuring out what were their worst business mistakes when it came to hiring marketers or marketing project and all that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Or doing your own marketing. Yeah. I remember I used to own a restaurant telling you, I don't know, 15, 16 years ago.
Yeah.
And I had this brilliant idea that I'm gonna do flyers,
Yep.
and it was buy one and get one free. I used to own a tapas restaurant. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Uh-oh.
I
I hear
go
this
there.
going. I hear this wrong. I hear.
I go
I might
there
know.
and I
Yeah.
design my flyer myself with my designers and whatever. And I sent to print 20,000 flyers. So I print them. And my restaurant was in London, in Brick Lane. So we distribute all these flyers all around the neighborhood and
Yeah.
everything. Guess what happened? I forgot to put in the flyer when the offer expires.
Oh.
And imagine, so there is 20 of those flyers all over the neighborhood, and the people that, because there were 20,000 of them, they were dumping them in the pub by
Oh my
packs like
goodness.
this.
Yep.
So the people in the pub around the corner, they say, this is a brilliant. They pick loads of them, a pack like that, and they were showing up in my restaurant. Oh yeah, with eating buy one and get one free lifetime. And there is
Oh,
nothing I couldn't do. You see, they
no.
arrive into the place with the voucher. I'm like, man, just for this tiny
Yes.
detail,
Yep.
look how huge was the impact. Yeah, and so I learned during doing these mistakes the
Yeah.
hard
It's
way.
the
Like I said,
smallest
if
things.
I share with you more of this one, we will be here until tomorrow. But and I remember another one very quickly. When somebody came to me, Harry, this is
Yep.
amazing. You're gonna have your ad in the metro. I'm like, wow, it's gonna be my company in the metro. Yeah, it's gonna work fantastic. And I'm like, how much it is? No, it's 2 year commitment. You have to pay like 3K per month and whatever. But you're gonna
Yep.
be in the metro, living for the street in London. I'm like, wow, gonna be the big deal. My business is gonna be the big deal. I'm gonna have a lot of clients, and then the ad is there, and no one is coming. And no one is coming. After 3 months, I go there. I said, look, let me see my ad. Where is it? I don't understand. And yes, it was in the metro, but it was in a place that my ad was here, and in front of the ad, it was a hallway where everybody walked really fast because everybody was worried that I'm gonna miss the train. So it doesn't happen that thousands and thousands of people are
Yep.
walking this station. Zero are gonna see my ad because it's exactly in a place in the station that people pass by so fast that there is no way that they can. It's not like you're sitting and waiting and the ad is in front of you. That would be, I learned this out of that one. So next
Yep.
time I need to ask, where are you gonna put the ad in
Well, I
in
thought you
the
were going to
station?
say. I thought you were going to
So
say you missed something. A lot of times, people say, "I did all this, but the phone number was wrong, or the address wasn't on it. I
yeah,
did all this stuff. We did this
mm-hmm,
beautiful ad, talked about it, but
mm-hmm,
I didn't put the address in. And it was one of those things
yeah.
where it was. We forget just proofing is such a big thing, and hiring or just spending a little bit of money on hiring an editor to read through some of the copy is one of the most valuable things. So,
But again,
yeah.
something to extend a little bit more. But then I cannot even turn out of the graphic designer that did the flyer because he doesn't know. He's just a
Yep.
graphic designer. He did the flyer with the design that I suggest to them, and he can make more
Yep.
pretty with the font, but he's not a marketer. He's a graphic designer, so I cannot expect that the graphic designer tell me, hey, you forgot the expiry date. This
Yeah.
doesn't work.
Yeah.
There's no chance that the graphic designer will know
No, and
that.
this is so
Again, with
this
the web design, we had the same thing, Brady. Sorry to
yeah, and
interrupt you. Web design,
yeah,
we had the same thing. No, I'm gonna design amazing web. Yeah, you can make a pretty web. That can I make money with this web?
yeah.
A completely different ball game, right?
And this is maybe one of the things I'll touch on is that what's really important is again I talk about slowing down the
Nothing wrong with
process
the
for a lot of people.
designers. They're amazing. I
Yeah.
work with loads of
Yeah,
them.
but if it's really when you hire contractors, just like we hire employees, it's kind of funny when we're in business sometimes we don't go through the scrutiny of interviewing
100%.
contractors and everywhere else. Like we go through more scrutiny of like for you probably hiring a busboy in the restaurant than you do hiring a designer, right? It's sort of who are you, what everything else, and it is slow that process down. Although sometimes people are you get a referral from somebody, that's really great. But one of the things is that just because a referral from another company doesn't mean they could be a really good fit for you. And there's a lot of different types and styles of consultants, how they work and everything else that's out there. So one of the key things that even comes, I mentioned in the book, is like, take your time to hire those people. Again, play that long game. Nothing's a rush. Hire like find that right person that fits your energy, that, kind of, I don't necessarily that even works in your industry. That's always a benefit, but someone who has that spark the same way you do, that you kind of, you have the same energy together, right? And that's more key than,
Right.
going out and, having a referral from somebody about a writer or about web design purpose. And there's lots out there. So take your time and hire the one that works for you.
Assumptions, Brady. This is a really powerful concept that you brought to this broadcast today. And boy, did I get it wrong so many times in my life, because assumptions, running businesses, assumptions, assuming that the graphic designer knows about the expiring days and this, assuming that the web developer, have a certain knowledge how the what type of content have to or copy have to have the website without knowing that. Or so you cannot assume, website, web designing. Web design is one thing, copyright is another thing. Same thing with when you design that, and all these concepts make together, and you, because you don't know, and again, because we hire so fast, right, and ask the right question, we end up doing assumptions, and when things doesn't work, you find out that is is you who make an assumption that you're expecting from someone to create actually something that is impossible to that person to do, because you need different skills in order to make whatever you want. But Brady, marketing and branding and why 20 years ago you decided that this is what you want to do as an entrepreneur? You know how many marketing agencies out there?
Yeah, no, there's
how
so
competitive it is.
It is.
You thought it was a good idea?
Yeah, it's I have a huge passion for it, and that's when you find what you love to do, no matter what, you sink your teeth into it. And I think sometimes people's brains are wired in really specific ways, and that's something where I am, tell you the truth, Harry, I'm absolutely awful at words and verbiage. Like I can't play Scrabble. I hate crosswords because that's not how my brain organizes information. But when it comes to visuals and it comes to sound and all that stuff,
wow.
It is like it's like a never-ending sponge, and it loves it. But
wow.
I think part of it too is I can connect certain things. So for me, it was always that passion of telling a visual story, and also do my sheer curiosity for everything around it. And to be honest, I really wanted a job where I could learn something new regularly, like almost every day. I did not like. I was afraid to get bored.
You're never gonna get bored if you have marketing.
Yeah, so with every new client, everything else, I could learn something else. So it was a fear of doing just having a job where I can kind of learn something and play. And to me, it was really why I jumped into it. And it seemed like a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of pressure because it's kind of like sports. You're paid to perform. Right. And unlike sports where they have to do an action, we are paid to be creative. And, even when you're tired and you don't want to do it, you still have to be creative. So, but like accounting, where not dumbing it down, but you're moving numbers around, with creative, you kind of really have to think in another way.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.